What's happening, everybody? Rachel West and Rick Stroud here. And Rick, yesterday, Bucs in Pittsburgh. Disappointment might be an understatement. I'm not sure. Obviously, coming out of there with a loss yesterday, whole lot happening. A lot of talk about, Brady went to Robert Kraft's wedding on Friday, might not have been as focused. Maybe that's the problem. But I think the Bucs have a whole lot of other issues that probably need addressing before they get all the way down on the list to that one. So first off, yesterday, offense clearly struggled, red zone issues, struggles on short yardage situations. What is the problem there? Is it the offensive line maybe?
Well, we'll start with Brady. It's not him, and it's not the wedding. And Todd Bowles addressed that today. I asked him, if there was, outside of here, there's a lot of perception that he gets special treatment. And Bowles said, look, you'd be surprised at how many guys take days off. It's just not publicized. You don't realize that this stuff happens all the time. So let's put that to rest. But offensively, yeah, they have struggled. And they've struggled, I think, starting with the offensive line. Look, they're not moving people in short yardage. Running the ball when you need a yard or a foot or less than a yard is about attitude. It's about the big guys moving the guys in front of them. They haven't done that. Luke Gedecke's getting a lot of the attention because he's the rookie. He's given up some pressures. He's given up some sacks. But Todd Bowles said, it's just a different guy every time. And they've absolutely got to improve that. The situational football on this team, especially on offense, is killing them. Short yardage, red zone, those sort of things have been a big problem. And, Byron Leftwich is going to fall under that as well. And he's the play caller, so he has to do a better job. I think Brady got frustrated yesterday. He got into his offensive line's grill pretty good. When you're scoring 20 points a game and not 30, this is what you're going to have.
Yeah, I would not want to be on the other end of that yelling from Brady yesterday that the O-line got, but warranted. And then you mentioned Byron Leftwich, the play calling, a lot of criticism there. They ran the ball a ton yesterday. Very few targets for guys like Mike Evans, which I'm sure is something that Todd Bowles would like to see go a little different.
Yeah. Todd Bowles said today, in fact, that when they came out of that game and he had just 4 targets and he caught all 4 passes, only 1 in the second half when they're trying to come back. That just can't happen to your best player. And it's true that any defense or every defense is going to double Mike Evans. They're going to do things to try to take him away or make sure he's not singled up. But that's on the offensive coordinator, again, back to Byron Leftwich, to move him around, create situations, whether it's pick plays or different things, to give him an opportunity to make those plays. And so I think that, they didn't use a third receiver much yesterday. We saw very little Brashard Perriman or Scotty Miller with a lot of 2 tight ends. They obviously wanted to run the football, but the problem is when they do try to run it, they're the last team in the NFL in yards average, per run. So it's not happening there. They've got to find a new way to do it. And, Bowles said basically everybody's got to play better, including Tom Brady.
Yep, not a good situation on the offensive side of the ball. And yesterday, not such a great situation on the defensive side either. Really couldn't stop them on third down to save their life. I don't know how many third and longs they gave up, but that's also a big problem.
It is, and they just needed, out of everything that we just said that went wrong, they needed one more stop. They didn't get the 2-point conversion. Get the ball back to Tom Brady. Ryan Suckup had already kicked 4 field goals, including a 55-yarder. What a year he's having. That matches a career high. Tom Brady would have got him in field goal range, but they couldn't get it back. And the reason is they kept having breakdowns on third and long. I mean, downs that are, less than 5% teams make. They made 4 of them. And, Todd Bowles said if it was one thing, obviously you'd fix it. It was a different guy on every play. Somebody just a little not assignment sound, out of position, didn't make the play when they had a chance to. And those are downs that the defense wins all the time. So it just kept happening. They couldn't get the ball back. This team is struggling right now, and it's a team thing. It's not one side of the ball or the other. We talked a lot about the offense early in the season. Now it's all of them. So they got to figure this out, and they got to figure it out quick.
That almost makes it even more concerning. And because things are so down here right now, mood, morale, obviously not the best. So where do you kind of go from here after a loss like that quite frankly is a little embarrassing?
Well, it was because Pittsburgh didn't have their secondary. Look, they were playing a rookie quarterback who got knocked out of the game. Mitch Trubisky came off the bench and beat them. And we're going to find out about, this team's leadership, its resolve. In the locker room yesterday, Levante David, Devin White, Shaquille Barrett, they all talked about, how the leaders have to step up. Every guy's got to look himself in the mirror, all this kind of cliche stuff. But at the end of the day, they need guys to make plays, right? You need Shaq Barrett to put the quarterback on the ground. He's getting a ton of money. Vita Vea getting paid a lot of money to get pressure on the quarterback and stop the run, which they haven't done. So all their big players have to start playing that way, Carlton Davis included. And if they do that, they come out here and do it and then transfer it on to Sunday, they'll be okay. But it's a division game on the road. They need to win it. They could drop under 500 if they lose that game. It's hard to think. That was probably the worst loss, I think, in the Brady era on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Todd Bowles put it best. There's a time where you can talk about getting better, and then there's
right.
a time where you got to just get better. And now is certainly that time. It'd be a good time to get better. Make sure you guys are keeping up with all of our coverage leading up to the game in Carolina on Sunday over on social media at Sports by Tampa Bay Times, as well as over at tampabay.com.